Hello, this is Mr. Horthoren signing on with magic cards, and lots of them. Okay, so, before we dive into this, because we're only going to be looking at a few things. We're going to be looking at this, and depending on how long the video is from this alone, we'll also look at this. So, quick rundown of what's going to be happening over the course of the next week, basically. Day 1, and possibly Day 2, is going to be this and this. These are the cards that I got at the pre-release event this Friday. Or at midnight, technically Saturday. But whatever. And then, we're probably going to end up doing these on different days. Because there's a couple combos I want to talk about in there that I'm going to need some extra time. But we're going to open this, right? And see what's in there. Actually, we'll open this one first. Lillian. Because Gideon's the big one for this 6-pack. Or this expansion. And then we'll open Lillian, Gideon. And each of these come with 2 booster packs in them. Right? And I won 1 game. And I'll explain why I only won 1 game with this deck. And then we'll open 5 of these booster packs. That a plan? That's a plan. Alright. Now, let's get the camera zoomed back in using this as a reference. Okay, there we go. So now we're just going to clear the space and start going. So basically, of course it's not going to focus like I want it to. So we're just going to modify the settings manually. So, basically, Fling from the new stuff looks really nice, but it's an old card. Then we have Anointor Priest. Whenever a creature token enters the battlefield under your control, you gain you gain 1 life. And this is something new. Embalm. Basically, you exile the card, and it becomes a copy of it, except it's a white zombie human cleric. Each of that, the zombie human cleric is different depending on the creature type. It has no mana cost, and it just, yeah, that Embalm exiles the card, and you just get a new one, basically. You get to play it again. It's like a flashback for sorceries. Cycling, obviously, just discard it, but it's draw 2 cards. So, I'm not sure why they have cycling on this card, unless you just don't want to pay the 3/1. And then you have an enchantment. Cartouche of Zeal. Cartouches are kind of a big thing, because they give +1/+1, and each color is different. When it enters the battlefield, a creature can't block this turn. Really nice card. Gives +1/+1 and haste. For 1, that's really nice. Then we got, what the fuck is this guy called? Colossalpede. It's a 5/5. It's just a big 5/5 for 5. And then you have a Scarab Feast. Exile up to 3 cards from a single graveyard. That includes yours if you so choose. You can cycle the card, however, but if you have someone that has a ton of Embalm cards, maybe you want to use that instead. I did not get any Mythics, sadly. Ornery Kudu. He puts a -1/-1 counter on target creature you control. This is a big thing in this pack. I'm not sure why, but basically, what everything happens is basically -1/-1s everywhere. Like, literally everywhere. My deck is just, it wasn't very good. But it's a 3-drop for 3/4. And you can put the -1/-1 on it. Right? Just keep that in mind. There's cards in here that basically say remove -1/-1 counters. When Doomed Dissenter dies, create 2/2 black zombie creature token. So it's a 2-drop for a 1/1 that creates a 2/2. Basically, remove it without removing it. Good luck. Then we got Sun-Scorched Desert. When it enters the battlefield, you deal 1 damage to target player. That's nice. It gives neutral to your mana pool, or colorless, as it were. Distribute 2 -1/-1 counters among 1 or 2 target creatures. Yep. For 3, that's not bad. Labyrinth Guardian. When Labyrinth Guardian becomes the target of a spell, sacrifice it. Well, that's not great. But then you can embalm it, which brings it back. However, it's a 2/3 for 2, so they had to make some way for, you know, something. I don't know. Hepatite's Mark. I have like one of these in this deck. However, it's not, didn't see much use. Basically, just remove all -1/-1 counters from it, and it gains hexproof. Great card for countering stuff. Weaver of Currents. Add 2 neutral to your mana pool for a green-blue and 1 neutral. Here is some artwork as this camera freezes. Hopefully it'll come back here in a second. There it goes. Nope, it's frozen again. And there's some tokens. Seeker of Insight, come on. Oh! That's why it's not focusing. Okay, there we go. That looks better. Draw a card, then discard a card. Activate this ability only if you cast a non-creature spell this turn. It's a 2-drop for 1/3, and an ability that's not that bad if you have a very cycle-heavy deck. Pathmaker Initiate. Target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. Great card. Basically, yeah, create a 2/2 with some odd ability, and bam, you get that. Ret Crop Spearmaster. It's a mouthful. You may exert Ret Crop Spearmaster as it attacks. When you do, it gets +1/+0, and it gains first strike until end of turn. I don't know why my camera's freezing left and right, but it is, and that's annoying. Hieroglyphic. Oh, fuck. Illumination. Draw 2 cards, or cycle. We've already seen that one. Greater Sandworm. There is others in here. Did I remember to remove? Yes, I did. Okay. Greater Sandworm can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. It is a 7/7 for 7. Big ass creature. Wander in Death. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand, or you can cycle. Spidery Grasp. Untap target creature. It gets +2/+4 and gains reach until end of turn. That's nice. Blighted Bat, and my card stack just fell over. Cool. Give me just a second on that. Blighted Bat gains haste until end of turn. So basically, if you have 4 mana that you can burn, it becomes a 2/1 with flying and haste. Which isn't great, but it's not bad either. Evolving Wilds, if you play Magic, you know exactly what this card is. It's a good card, but at the same time, it's also kind of an blah card. If you're playing Commanders, you have like 3 cards that do this. If you're not playing Commanders, you probably don't have this in your deck. Either way. Hooded Brawler. You may exert the Brawler. It gets +2/+2. So it's a 3-drop for 3/2, but it can become a 5/4. That's okay. That's cool. Defiant Great Maw enters the battlefield. Put 2 -1/-1 counters on target creature you control. And whenever it attacks, it loses a -1/-1, and then it also... Oh. And whenever you put 1 or more -1/-1 counters on Defiant, it removes -1/- counters from other creatures. So basically, it's a 3-drop that has 2 -1/-1s, but you can remove 2 -1/-1s, assuming you put it on this card, which puts it down to a 2/3, which is in line with the mana cost. Grim Strider gets -1/-1 for each card in your hand. basically don't have a 7-card hand. Yeah, that would be bad. And don't put it in a draw deck. And we're on to the lands for these packs. They're very beautiful Egyptian-inspired lands. And the tokens are quite nice as well. I was actually given this one directly. And most of these tokens I actually got at the event because I asked around for people if they wanted to keep their tokens or not. And they said, nope, they didn't want to. I'm going to look through this really quick, see if there's any legendaries. At the pre-release event, it was fun, it was social, it was a lot of things, and not a lot of things at the same time. And I just remembered, there's more cards from the pre-release. Pardon me just a second. Basically, there's more because I completely forgot that I put them in this thing. Dova Kitty. He's sad. Probably because he gets beat up all the time. Alrighty. So, it's official. The deck that I played with is going in tomorrow's video. So, at the top are basically all of the legendary cards that I got at the event, aside from the ones that are actively in my deck. Aven Mind Sensor, Flash Flying. If an opponent would search his library, that player searches the top 4 cards instead. Great card if you have land and you... great card if you want to stop them from searching for land. Regal Caracal. Other cats you control get +1/+1 and have lifelink. Basically, 2/2 cats with lifelink. So, double lifelink. Cool. I should have made a cat deck, because that seemed to be the big thing. This is a melded card. Failure. You return target spell to its owner's hand. And then, Comply. You can cast this only from the graveyard, then exile it. You get to choose a card name until the end of turn. Your opponent can't cast spells with this chosen name. Basically, if you get rid of a spell and you need it gone for more than 2 for a turn and then another turn, ta-da! Melded cards are cool. Alright, we got Harsh Mentor. Whenever an opponent activates an ability or an artifact, creature, or land on the battlefield, if it isn't a mana ability, Harsh Mentor deals 2 damage to that player. Great card. At the beginning of your combat, on your turn, you may have target creature you control get +2/+0 and gains haste. If you do, sacrifice it. Oh yeah, that can be dangerous. Especially if you have like a frickin' multi-strike creature that's huge already. Exert. Obviously, it has trample as well. Reach. Minotaur Sure Shot. Oh my god. I have you locked on your focus. Why are you doing this to me? Gets +1/+0. And because that is not a tap effect, you can play that multiple times. So basically, if you had the mana, you could turn this into whatever you wanted. You could turn it into a 7/3. I mean, give it trample and ta-da. Trample. Once again, F-Crop Entangler. Battlefield Scavenger. You may exert him as it attacks. Whenever you exert a creature, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Mill deck, maybe. You must sacrifice creature. We've already seen that. Blazing Volley deals 1 damage to each creature your opponent controls. Oh, that's nice. It's an instant, or it's a red 1-drop sorcery. So that's cool. Fling, once again, have seen. Thresher Lizard gets +1/+2 as long as you have 1 or fewer cards in your hand. I should probably play with this because I end up with no cards in my hand all the time. Seen him. Manticore of the Gauntlet. Enters the battlefield, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature you control. Manticore of the Gauntlet deals 3 damage to target opponent. I mean, It's technically, just putting it on itself is a 4/3, which is in line with the 5, especially with that 3 damage. True Heart Twins. You may exert them. When you exert a creature, creatures you control get +1/+0. Exert is the huge thing this pack. That's why everything has it. It gets +1/+1s and gains Menace until end of turn for 4/3. Cool. Destroy target artifact or land. Violent Impact. Cool. Gain control of target creature. It gains haste. Creature until end of turn. It gains haste. -1/-1 for each card in your hand. Miasmic Mummy. This card is really good if you know your opponent doesn't have any land and is on like 1 card. But it didn't see much use in my games. Honorary Kudu. -1/-1 on a creature you control. Greater Sandworms. Obviously seen it already. Colossipede. 5/5 for 5. It's huge. Big thing. Exert. Creature you control get +1/+1. Darrow's Resolve. My throat is getting really, really dry. Untap target creature. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to it this turn. This is a great response card, especially for 1. Those Who Serve. It's just a 2/4 zombie. Red Crop Spear. Attendant. Flying, Cycling, and Embalm. Yeah, 3/3. 3/3 for 5 and Embalm, so you get it back if you need it. And hell, you could just cycle it, draw a card, and then Embalm it. I mean, yeah. I like that card. The Crop. Ooh. Elite. You may exert. If you do, creatures get +1/+1. Gustwalker. You may exert Gustwalker. It gets +1/+1 and gains flying. Some creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. Other creatures get just +1/+1. Cool. Target creature get +2/+2 and flying. And there's another one. Tap target creature. For 1 as a creature. Tap 2. Yeah. It's nice. Devoted Cropmate. When you do return target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less from the graveyard to the battle. This would be good in a revival deck. Supply Caravan. 1/1 white warrior creature token with vigilance. That's nice. Legendary. Blue creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast a creature spell, target creature an opponent controls doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Cool. Zenith Seeker. When you cycle or discard a card, target creature gains flying until end of turn. Well, considering how much cycling there is, yeah. Sacrifice Scribe of the Mindful. Return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Cool. Counter target spell. Literally just a flat out, no, you don't get to do this. I like this card. Seen it. Seeker of Insight. Draw a card, then discard a card. Activate this ability only if you've cast a non-creature spell this turn. Cool. Floodwaters. Return up to 2 target creatures to their owner's hand. Cool. Slither Blade can't be blocked. Yeah, for 1, that's nice. Ancient Crab. Banks of the Luxa River attract all manner of predators, but only the most resilient of prey. It's 3 for 1/5. If you can boost its power, it's a strong card. Avian Initiate. Flying, 3/2, but it's a 7 if you want to involve it. Otherwise, it's a 4. Ancient Crab. Visor of the Tumbling Sands. Untap another target permanent. Oh yeah, that's nice. Return target tapped creature to its owner's hand. And draw a card. Decision Paralysis. Tap up to 2 target creatures. Those creatures don't untap during their controller's next untap step. Crop Skirmisher. Embalm, once again. That's been like that all video. Meh. I'm just gonna fix that. Embalm. I mean, it's a 2/1 for 2 or 4. Shimmer Scale Drake. 5 for 3/4 with flying and cycling. That's decent. Counter target creature spell Essence Scatter. That's nice. Enigma Drake. This is one of the 2 cards that I got that were multicolored. Enigma Drake's power is equal to the number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard. I should have played a red-blue during the tournament, but it's too late now. And On-Crop Champion. You may exert On-Crop Champion as it attacks. When you do, untap all other target creatures you control. Dun dun dun! Yeah. This is my this card is the one I'm happiest about getting, because I've been wanting to make a Rainbow Dragon deck for a while, but I just don't have the dragons to do it. Alright, well, yeah, we're at the 21 mark. Next time, you get to see what I won one match with, and this guy was absolutely useless. There's the date of the event right there. The 22nd to 23rd of April 2017. Honored Hydra. Oh yeah. I am not salty at all about the fact that I didn't get a mythic. Mr. Horthoren signing off.